Big Ben threw 56 times for over 450 yards, but his last-minute interception on 3rd and goal sunk the Steelers. Still, Roethlisberger didn't seem too concerned about the pick after the game.
I never would have thought in a million years that a defensive lineman would get blocked off the ball that far right into an interception. But good play by him. He's not dropping. He got blocked. He got blocked right into the play. So there's no way to ever think that guy's going to make that play. And of all the interceptions I've thrown, that's one of the most fluky I've ever been associated with.
All right, it doesn't seem fluky that the Steelers' offense has struggled since Le'Veon Bell officially decided to skip the season. They're averaging less than 20 points per game and haven't rushed for over 100 yards since November 4th. All right, look, Big Ben's going to take some heat for that interception. He's making crazy excuses because if the defensive tackle hadn't intercepted it, there was a defensive back in prime position.
Roby was right there.
Yeah, right there to make. But I don't blame Big Ben. I blame the Steelers organization and the coaching staff to some degree, but mostly the organization. If they had Le'Veon Bell on this roster, they wouldn't have thrown the ball 56 times in a one-possession football game. Le'Veon Bell would have dictated the money they would have had invested in him and just the talent. We would be playing. If they had Le'Veon, they would be the AFC version of the New Orleans Saints. They would have Le'Veon Bell and James Conner, and they'd be running the football in a more balanced offense. They'd be protecting their older quarterback the same way the Saints have. They would be the Saints of the AFC. But because they didn't want to make the commitment to Le'Veon Bell, they come out with a foolish game plan. I think they threw the ball 10 or 12 straight times to start the game. Put way too much on Ben's back. Offense out of balance. This is on the organization for not investing in Le'Veon Bell.
How long you been waiting to say that? How long you really have? Boy, I haven't been in the media forever, but I do know one thing. As soon as Le'Veon Bell was not on the Steelers roster, I just started my clock. I was like, time. Someone is going to wait to insert the moment where you see anything wrong with this offense. Le'Veon Bell's the fix. But Le'Veon Bell has been there for many years, and the offense has had this roller coaster ride. I understand you're saying that's too many times in terms of pass attempts, but that wasn't an indictment on James Conner. Look, this was a 20th ranked rush offense last year with Le'Veon, and it's a 27th ranked offense in terms of rush this year without Le'Veon. So not huge difference, but yeah, you're better with Le'Veon Bell. I've been saying that since day one. The thing that beat the Pittsburgh Steelers weren't the Denver Broncos. They didn't wear orange. It was themselves. They beat themselves by having two turnovers, including one pass reception at the goal line. Think about it. The most important statistic in terms of win-loss is the turnover ratio, right? You can't lose that battle, and they lost that battle. And then they gave up 14 points in those moments of those same turnovers. One on the goal line. Hey, bro, just make a move inside and score instead of trying to run through a guy. Second one is the pick we just showing from Ben Roethlisberger. My point is you can't lose a turnover battle and give up 14 points and expect to win the game. That's why they lost.
You know, you look at this football team, and 4 turnovers on the road, you'll never win a football game like that. It's very rare that a team can go on the road, turn the ball over 4 times, and win that game. And the same thing that you love about Ben is what you hate about Ben. Because Ben will hold on to the ball, guy will be draped all over him, and he'll throw the ball for a touchdown. He's taking those shots down the field. And Randy Fichtner, the offensive coordinator in his first year doing so, he has to make sure this team going throughout the rest of this year is a balanced attack. Now, Conner gave up. He dropped that ball twice. He put it on the ground twice this past game. He has to make sure in a simple screenplay where he could have just ran vertical and got almost close to the goal line. When a guy hits you in the knees, you can't fumble the football. He didn't even touch the ball. He just popped the ball out. Yeah. You got to make sure you protect the football. This is a good football team. At the end of the day, I remember being on the show at the beginning of the year. They were bickering in the locker room, and I'm saying they're going to be fine. Yeah. This team is still going to be fine. This is a good football team. You just can't turn the ball over when you go on the road and think you're going to win. In the National Football League, you just know that. And, Tony, you're an offensive player more than anything. You know, what did your coach say? Take care of that football when it's your opportunity. When you turn the ball over on the road, you're not going to get big.
Yeah, absolutely kills you. But looking at the question, did the Steelers miss Le'Veon Bell? Yeah, they missed him even earlier in the season. I don't care what anybody says. This guy is a good football player, man, and they should have paid him. Conner, I think that's psychological now. Le'Veon's not coming back. There's no more threat of that. So now I got it. I don't know. I'm just looking because he has not played that well. And the only reason he hasn't, unless he's hurt or something, there's something going on in his brain. I remember my first year, I didn't start, and I played pretty well. That second year as a full-time starter, I dropped 17 balls when we don't even go there, would you? But, he was the reporter back then, killing me in the media. But it was something like a psychological shift now, and knowing that I am the guy and that I'm the full-time starter. And I think maybe that's what's going on with Connor. But Le'Veon Bell, for sure they miss him. They would be a lot better football team if they had him on this team.
If they didn't have 6 titles, if they hadn't won all those titles, they would have Le'Veon Bell. But the Steelers approach everything like, hey, we're the Steelers. We've won 6 Super Bowls. You know, if we win one this year, great. If they were a desperate organization, they would have Le'Veon Bell there, and they would be a much better team. And I'll say it again, they would be the Saints of the AFC, virtually unstoppable.
They will be a different team because it would have a two-headed monster in the backfield. Le'Veon's a different running back. I mean, you always want your best players. He's like shown all the other running backs in the league who we see that hesitate nowadays and then wait for the blockers and the hold to unfold and they take off. He's the reason because of that, because he's a patient running back. But overall, the Steelers, they do it their way. That is true. They gave him the franchise tag. He chose not to sign that franchise tag. He wanted a long-term deal. That's not what has to happen. If players don't like that, they have to change the CBA. So you have to go back there. You can't blame the team for using the mechanism that they allowed to be there.
I got it. But as an organization, trust me, if this was the Cowboys and they felt like they were this close, and maybe I got to give Le'Veon a bad contract in order to get this next Super Bowl, they're going to give Le'Veon that bad contract. The Steelers refuse to do it, unlike the overwhelming majority of organizations that would be a bit more desperate. Steelers, like the Patriots, they try to do more with less. Other teams would try to do more with more.
It's just interesting that, look, one of the things you spoke of is that if Le'Veon was there, they wouldn't throw the ball this much. But then you look at Ben Roethlisberger's reference in his numbers. Not only this year did they throw the ball more times, he had a 60-attempt game, but also last year with Le'Veon there, 66 attempts in a winning effort against Baltimore. There's times when, whether you have game plan, whether there are circumstances changing that game plan, there are times where I've seen this Steelers offense get off script and get off balance and turn it into just a throwing fest. And against the team on the road, and I just saw that same team, the Denver Broncos, come to L.A., beat a red-hot Chargers team, playing with a lot of fire for a team under 500. Then they get a team that's giving them gifts, 2 gifts in the end zone, 4 in total. You're going to get beat. I don't care who you're playing against in the NFL. You give up that turnover ratio. They
started the game with no regard for the running game.
Yeah.
That would never happen if they're paying Le'Veon Bell what it would have took to have Le'Veon Bell. You just don't have that game plan. We paying this guy too much money to just put it all on.